with the rest of the presentation are what are the benefits of documenting the world around us, what are some ways to document the world around us, what is the most important skill needed for documentation, and what are some ways artists of past have documented their surroundings. Here we are going to cover journaling as a strategy of documenting the world around you. Many artists around the world used art as a medium to tell their stories and document the world around them visually. In fact, many of our world's ancient sites and museums are filled with artifacts that tell stories of past. There are many ways of documenting the world around you. Some of them are you can write it down, you can draw a picture, you can create a scene depicting a story or event, you can make a movie, you can take a picture, you can even sing a song. Some topics that can be covered are people you love, animals, pets around you, your living spaces, indoor and outdoors, plants and flowers that grow around you, keeping a visual journal of feelings and events. So, drawing people around you, most of us are always constantly surrounded by people, even if they are not around you. It is an interesting yet challenging subject to draw. We are often surrounded with people we know and we love. Artists are human too. The ways to draw people, you can draw a portrait, you can draw a pose, you can capture a moment too. Uh, when you're drawing a portrait, it is important to identify the shape of the face of the subject that you're observing and you're drawing, and then placement of the key features, proportion of the eye to the rest of the face. These are some sixth grade student observation drawing, and you can take simple drawings and come up with something creative with it. And drawing portrait is a great way to understand proportion and enhance those application skills because um, every time you draw a portrait, a little better you get. Fun fact: Rembrandt drew close to nine. He painted, drew, etched close to 97 to 100 portraits. Drawing people around you, human poses, you can take a picture of your subject if your subject won't stay still, or you can capture movement too by doing the quick gesture drawings. These are some of my drawings and paintings of people that um, I know and I love. Drawing pets and animals around you. Drawing pets and animals around you can be a fun activity. Our pets are dear to us. They provide us with a variety of subject matter. Animals that live in our neighborhood can be fun to document, especially during spring. Drawing and painting of pets and animals around you. Some student artworks. These are um, some of them are my seventh grade student artworks. Some of them are my sixth grade student artworks, Art 1 and Art 2 level. And we start with a sketch, then they pick a subject that they want to draw. And in this case, these students decided to draw pets because they're so close to them. And I have to say, the outcomes are very unique and very creative and not bad. Steps for drawing animals pet. You have to think who your subject is. What are the chief characteristics of my animal? Each animal is unique, so check the contours and proportions of the species. Drawing your living spaces or surroundings. Currently, most of us are confined to our living spaces. What better way to document space we live in than to draw it out? Living spaces can be indoor or outdoor, like your living room, kitchen, bedroom. When you go out for a walk, and your trip in car. So a lot of my students are currently confined to virtual teaching. They are not allowed to leave their household. So the best thing to do in that case is to enhance those skills and keep those skills going is to draw from your surroundings, draw indoors. Um, the great thing about this, it could be as simple as and as elaborate as the amount of supplies you have available with you. So these are some fun examples. that we casually did. As you can see, one is a small kitchen area, the other is one of them is still life, and the third picture is just my classroom. One day I just decided to, while my students were busy working, I decided to just do a quick sketch. Drawing your living spaces or surroundings outdoors. If you go for a walk, you see something cool, you can take a quick picture, or if you have the liberty of being a passenger on a slightly longer drive, you can quickly capture the your outdoor surroundings with your pen and your and your pencil on your sketchbook. So these are some outdoor drawings that I've done on my road trips and picnics. So, how do you draw your indoor or outdoor space if you do not have access to a camera of some sort? What you can do, you can pick an angular spot. Remember the rules of creating 2D or uh, creating space on 2D surface. You need to pick a background, middle ground, foreground, and apply the laws of perspective. Then make sure you plan the positive and negative space accordingly. So our option 4 is botanical drawing, studying plant life around you. Botanical drawings is study of plants around you, and even in desert, you can still find some amazing flora and fauna. So what is botanical illustration? Botanical illustration is an art of depicting form, color, and details of plant species, frequently in watercolor paintings. So these are some examples of antique botanical drawings. As we all know, before the invention of camera or dictionary or Pictionary. And so you can also teach them parts of the plant when they're doing observation study. I usually do this project with my students during spring because the weather is a little nicer. We can go out much more, especially here in North Texas. It's not too hot, not too cold. And on non-rainy day, we can go out and explore and study the plant life that grows around us. Or sometimes I also bring like some stalks of flowers from grocery store and then just distribute it among tables. This is a great lesson for seventh grade science because they kind of they have a unit. It is part of our TEEX science TEEX study of plants. So make sure if you are going to study a plant and you know that it's not going to survive as long as your project is, you can take interesting pictures of plants around it, draw or paint a picture of plant, and make sure you share it with your students and make sure your students share it with you. So this is an example of the process. The one in the black and white, I usually make them do multiple studies and then they go on and move on to the bigger projects. Now, as we know, like a lot of kids are stuck indoors because of COVID. Um, Maybe they can sit in the balcony if they have no access to it. Maybe once they're going on a walk, they can just take a simple quick sketch and then come back and elaborate it a little bit more. So these are some of the plan drawings. So visual journal of events and thoughts. This is a great way to decompress. So visual journal, an art journal is a visual diary. It combines elements of writing, drawing, painting, and collage, and even printmaking to express yourself. This includes your everyday life as well as your bigger hopes, dreams, and fears. So these are some images from internet. These are not my images. However, these are my images, and art journals are fun to work on. You do not have to work on them on single sitting. It's something you can work on a little bit every day. I like to do a brain drain first, write down things in my mind on the paper first, and draw over my thoughts and ideas. Then add colors, pictures as I need. Sometimes I like to add old drawings to my journaling page. So sometimes what I'll do, I'll start something, just play with it, and then maybe I would have time, maybe I wouldn't have time. I just go back and dabble some more. as I get the opportunity to fill it up. When it comes to journaling, I don't plan my journals that much. I just go with the flow. Close-up photography. Now, this is not my original lesson or something which I have created. This was shared with me by another first biology teacher, Mrs. Anita Steele. I feel like this is a great project for students. It's very entertaining for them, and kids love taking pictures. Fortunately, they have the digital devices. A lot of them, at least in our area, have digital devices. So, that's a fun activity for them to do with minimum. If they have a phone and a camera on the phone, it is easy. Macro photography is an extremely close-up photography, usually a very small object and living organism. And if you click on this presentation, you can go and learn more about the artist. So Alberto inherited his artistic talent from his grandfather, who was a painter since childhood and all. This pretty much gives you the full lesson plan, and it goes through it. So your students can take some fun photography. When I do photography unit, I try to incorporate principles of design in it, and so that way they know what they're focusing on. And I would give them like, okay, so you have to focus on 4 out of 8 principles of design of your choice, and then make a presentation and share it with me. So these are unfortunately not my student works, just some works that were shared with me. So close-up photography can be so much fun. My students did this when we went quarantine in spring 2020, and they had so much fun with it. So I hope you guys got to get something from this presentation. And so if you would please fill up the quality questions, and I have shared other documents, or I have shared other lesson plans along with it. So I hope you enjoyed this.